first key part of Barack Obama's legacy is something his opponents can never undo, however hard they try, and he achieved it on his first day in office. He will always be America's first black president.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear that I will execute
faithfully the office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States faithfully.
Perhaps we forget now quite how historic it was, a sign of how far America had come despite all its racial divisions and rancor.
So help you God?
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
For the next 8 years, there were many Americans who couldn't, and still can't, come to terms with it. I lost count of the number of times I was told he was a dangerous Muslim socialist who wasn't really American when I was working there. Underlying all that was a deep fear about what a black president would do to America and what it said about what the country had become.
We problem in this country, it's called Muslims. We know our current president is one. Right. You know he's not even an American.
We need this
birth
question.
certificate, man.
One of the biggest proponents of the claim Barack Obama wasn't born in America and therefore shouldn't have been president was Donald Trump. His rise has undoubtedly benefited from those sentiments, and his election was in some ways a reaction to them. The legacy of being America's first African-American president, as it seems, come with a price.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
The second key part of Barack Obama's legacy is also something he can't have taken away from him, but hardly anyone talks about now. He and his team saved America and the world from economic catastrophe. It's one of the unfair things about leadership. No one knows the size of the disasters you've averted because they never happened, so you don't get the credit you deserve for dodging them. But people forget that just 2 months before Barack Obama walked into the White House, America suffered its most serious economic crisis in decades, and his decisions were crucial in saving the country from the consequences.
Now, we've come through a terrible crisis. The American people have paid a very high price. We simply cannot return to business as usual.
Now, his critics have pointed out that also on his watch, no one was punished for the fraud and failings that led to the banking crisis, and not enough was done to prevent something like it happening again. But without a cool head and the right team, things would have been far, far worse.
Yes, we did. Yes, we can. Thank you.
The third part of his legacy, everyone knows about, everyone in America seems to have an opinion about, and unlike the first two, is at risk of being undone by his enemies: Obamacare. Barack Obama was determined to try and fix America's health system, but it used up a huge amount of political capital, and it gave his fractious enemies a cause they could fight for and rally around. After that, his presidency was forever a battle to get anything done. Republicans were determined to make him a one-term president, and openly said so, and their tactics were cynical to the extreme. They blocked Obama's proposals wherever possible. He wasn't without fault famously aloof. He's never excelled at the personal side of politics. He seems to see charming, cajoling or arm-twisting his opponents somehow beneath him. As he said, he wasn't cut out to deal with the divided politics of his time.
It's one of the few regrets of my presidency that the rancor and suspicion between the parties has gotten worse instead of better. I have no doubt a president with the gifts of Lincoln or Roosevelt might have better bridged the divide. And I guarantee I'll keep trying to be better.
There are plenty of things Barack Obama can be criticized for. He didn't close Guantanamo, killed many without trial or due process with drones, didn't do enough to help black civil rights, failed to tackle the terrifying spate of mass shootings on his watch. And historians will argue over his foreign policy failings for years to come. Too weak or too strong in Israel, responsible for the failings of the Arab Spring, asleep at the wheel on Syria, a statesman on Iran's nuclear deal, or guilty of a reckless gamble. But there's no doubt he agonised over the choices he had to make, and that's a clue to another less obvious side to Obama's legacy, one that Donald Trump may unwittingly enhance the harder he tries to diminish his record. Obama brought a dignity, a sense of class and decency, and a complete lack of scandal to the office of president. No drama Obama infuriated his supporters as much as his opponents. He was condemned by both for what seemed like a professorial detachment, but no one would question how seriously and diligently he took his job, and how much he revered his office, and how respected he leaves it. All that may end up counting just as much as anything else when historians come to pass judgment on Barack Obama's legacy in the years to come.